Here we go. Okay, we are recording. Joining me today, Josh Stone. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. We're doing that fake hello, like we haven't just been having a natter for the last 5 minutes.
We've done one. We've already done our hellos.
Well,
Listeners only.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking at your setup. It's a lovely podcast setup. So we'll talk about the podcast a bit later as well, because I want to know all about that.
Okay.
But Josh, I always try and start the podcast with the first question, and I want you to tell me, what is the song that you regard as having the greatest ever intro?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Mm.
It's probably I Got the Blues by Labi
Okay.
Siffre.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that one. I covered that actually. I tried to cover it and, respect that as much as possible. And we did do the long intro. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. It's just awesome. And then, of course, it was sampled when it drops. It was sampled by Eminem.
Yeah.
So everybody knows the drop. My name is Eminem. What is he saying? Hi, my name is my name is who? Obviously, I don't do it as well as he does. But yeah, the intro to that is wow, how beautiful.
He's really lucky, Labi Siffre, because I guess aside from Something Inside So Strong, he could probably walk down the street and not get hassled. Yet he's got that song, which is that sample's been used. He wrote, obviously, It Must Be Love for Madness, and so he must get all the perks of having all the amazing money that comes from writing these amazing songs, yet can still just kind of stroll down the street and no one hassle him. That's the dream, right?
The dream. That is the dream. Literally, that is it. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Oh,
Josh, tell me about intros. And when you're working on music, you chose a song that's got quite a nice sort of long intro to it. But I'm always interested in musicians, and I guess sometimes this question could lean more towards a kind of more commercial pop act. Right. But we're seeing that the way that I'm looking at the way that my daughters get music now, and it's TikTok, and it's
so quick, isn't it?
It's so quick. Yeah. And everything's so quick. And I know the music that, being aware of your work and knowing the music you've grown up on, it isn't that instant disposable pop. But I just wonder, as an artist, when you're creating music and essentially the intro, are them kind of TikTok and Spotify playlists or things like that, do they enter into your creative process?
Oh no, I don't think they do. And maybe that's why I'm so old and I'm no one's listening to me on TikTok, because I'm not really paying that much attention to it. I should do though, I suppose.
No, not at all. There's no right or wrong answer, Joss.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, the reason why we make music is because we want people to hear it and we want people to feel good from it. So, and then it's like, well, which people, what people, how old are they? Where do they live? There's 1,000 questions that come after that. And, there was a time where I would make it so I could feel proud of it. It's almost like kind of self-indulgent.
Yeah.
And that time was short, actually, for me. It only lasted like a few years. And I was very obsessed with getting it exactly how I dreamed it in my mind. And it ended up being quite stressful. Having any type of confinement, I suppose, I didn't enjoy it. So now I just make it and I look around the room and I hope that all the musicians are having a lovely time and the engineers having a lovely time. And I think, yeah, all right. Yeah, this is good. This is giving good energy to people, So yeah, when you consider the listener, it's very difficult because there's millions of people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to just look around the room and hope that they represent the listeners. I don't know. But yeah, I do enjoy music a lot. So my music is musical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to have a little bass solo if I can get it in there,
Yeah, absolutely. And but like I say, there's no right or wrong answer to that. I've had, I've done 450 of these episodes now, and some people have just gone, for me, I just like the something like, Help by the Beatles, help, bang, straight in, and like that's it, no messing, just straight
no
in,
messing
and
around.
then other people are going for some Pink Floyd intro that is essentially the whole song is like a 20-minute intro, and it's like so. There's no right or wrong answer, but I do find what I find quite interesting is the fact that now, if a new pop artist, and we look at bands like Queen and things like that, who were pop bands in their time, and I do think if a young artist took Bohemian Rhapsody into a record company now, they'd be like, mate, you're having a laugh, aren't you? What's this?
They wouldn't be interested. Do you know what? It's so true. I was thinking about, if I was born in a different time completely, imagine if I was born in like, I don't know, the 1600s, and I sounded the way I sound now, and I sang the songs that I sing now. I'd be burned. They would, not only would they not like it, they would probably say I was a witch or something and like, I don't know, sink me in the ground. I don't know. It wouldn't go well for me. So it's all about, luck and timing.
That would be an incredible album review to have got in the 1600s, wouldn't it? How did Joss's new record go down? Nah, she got stoned. Absolutely stoned.
She's completely done. Yeah.
Witch was drowned.
Yeah. It's a weird thought, but it's kind of true. It's like, okay, so what I do, I make noises that people happen to like today, at the moment.
Yeah.
And they might not like it tomorrow. So you just got to enjoy your minutes, haven't you?
Absolutely. That's a good name for an album. Not in the 1600s though. Yeah. Right, Joss, tell me please the first song that you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
Oh gosh. Okay, so this one, it's Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton for sure. And the reason I remember this, it was so specific because my dad, he was going to pick up my mum from karate. So my mum started karate when we were about, I don't know, 3 or 4. She had 3 kids under 5 and then an older teenager. And she just wanted that time for herself. But I was obsessed with her. So I was like, no, where's mummy? I'm coming. So I would like ask to go along in the car with my dad. And he took that time to play me music and explain things to me. The worst thing really he could have done, because I cried for about 2 days and he got in major trouble with my mum. Because he would sit me down and he would, before the song was to play, it was almost like he was performing in a concert. He was like, okay, this song is about this. And he explained that it was about his son, and Eric had lost his son, and his son was only 2. And that's what the song is about. And then he played the song, and I remember hearing the words, because you do when someone explains it to you beforehand. You don't just hear the melody and the guitar. You're hearing the story.
Yeah.
And it says, would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? And I thought, I don't know if he would, because he was so young. And it was just that horrible thought. And I still can't even get it out of my head now. And I just was so upset for days. Yeah. And my mum was like, what the hell have you done to her? What's gone on? But that is soul music, Yes, Eric Clapton. We don't think, okay, Eric Clapton, we don't put him in the space of like Aretha Franklin soul, James Brown soul. That's not the genre that we put with him. But that is soul music. That's what connects 100%. With you. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's just honest, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean the circumstances around that record are heart-wrenching, and and to kind of channel that, and I don't know if he got comfort from writing that or if he was literally exercising the pain. I don't know. Like, so
hard.
But it's brutally honest and it's it'll tear your heart out, that one, won't it?
It's so heavy, but it's so real life, because people do go through that.
Yeah.
And that's what music is for. It's to comfort us all, so we don't feel alone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people that have gone through a similar thing probably take a lot from that song.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, I shared a backing singer with Eric Clapton. So she told me stories about when they sang that song on stage. And she said, you know what, Joss, they sing it. Now we do it in a reggae style because it's too difficult.
So, oh, really?
Yeah. They kind of because everyone wants to hear it because it's such a huge song. But going over and over and over and oh my goodness, it's like self-harm.
Yeah.
You know, some of these things you have to re-sing. Oh,
Yeah.
it like guts you every night.
Yeah.
So they decided to make it reggae, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess so many songs are written about heartbreak and breakups and things like that. But I guess with time, that's easier, and I presume would get easier. But the loss of a child, like that's going to be raw, isn't it? Forever.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't. I don't know. It's just too much.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
he did that, and he was brave enough to put it out, and a lot of people have got a lot of comfort from it. So it's kind of like a self-sacrifice in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
So tell me about, aside from your dad mentally scarring you on car journeys, how was your upbringing? Like, where was it, and was it a musical house growing up?
Yeah, it was. My upbringing was in Dover until I was about, I think we moved when I was about 8. So it was half there and half in Devon, because I got a job at 14, and then I was not living anywhere ever since. So really, 2 very different places actually. I learned how to sing in front of the cows in Devon. That was my audience. And they're a great audience, cows. Brilliant. They're very inquisitive, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you stand on top of the hedge and just belt it out, they will come over, whether they like it or not. They're coming over because
is that a good? If they're coming over, is that a good review?
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
right.
That's what you want, isn't it? Yeah. So, music was everywhere in our house. Dad played stuff. That was one thing, and Mum played stuff that was another. You know.
What sort of stuff was you being exposed to? Obviously, you mentioned Clapton there, but what other stuff was being played at home?
So my mum, she really liked like the big female singers. So did my dad, really. But she was like Melissa Etheridge, Via Con Diaz, Whitney Houston, Anita Baker. And then they did share a love for the same music. So, you know, Caught Up in the Rapture was like a big deal for both of them.
What a record.
I know, isn't it beautiful? Gosh, I do love it. I know every single word to that record. And then my dad, he did like a bit of Devo, which was fun. And the reggae thing certainly came from him. He liked Linton Kwesi Johnson,
nice,
which was a big deal in the house. Solomon Burke, James Brown, all that good stuff. Nice. And then as I got older, I was one of 4 kids, so we all liked something different.
Yeah, you know? Being one of 4 kids, and just by what you said there, standing on the top of a hedge, singing like a mad woman at cows.
What you do when you're on your own, isn't it?
Was you a confident kid, Joss?
No. I wasn't at all. No. That's why I had to sing to the cows. I was very nervous and shy. I never wanted to sing in front of humans.
Yeah.
It was a horrible thought.
Yeah.
So my mum, she used to go to parent-teacher meetings, of course. My dad, he couldn't be bothered dealing with that.
Yeah.
But my mum went in, and she was being told all the time, you know, Joss doesn't really do her homework and this and that. And she went into the music teacher and she goes, well, you know, she can sing. And he was like, no, she's never done anything. Like, she always stands in the back with a paper in front of her face. Mum was like, no, seriously, I promise you she can sing. So he kind of pulled me out a little bit after she'd said that. But he wasn't going to know that without her saying. I just felt it was really embarrassing, you know? And I still sometimes feel like that. If someone was to ask me to sing in a scenario that wasn't like set up for it, I would feel embarrassed. It feels like it feels like exhibitionist.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh God, this is embarrassing. But now I know it brings a lot of happiness to people. I kind of get it. I get why I'm supposed to be doing it. Yeah. And we used to have barbecues down by the river, which was in my garden in Devon, and invite everyone, like all the neighbors and all their kids. Oh, and it was like, I really fancied the boy that lived down the road, you know. And I didn't want to like talk to him or anything. And my dad would stand up and go, right, Joss, sing us all a song.
God.
Oh, awful.
What? Just a cappella? Just
Just
on
a
your?
cappella, just sing us all a song. No, it was awful. And I'd be like, Dad, please don't make me do that. And he said to me, you know, it's very selfish. You are hiding your gift. I'm like, well, I'm hiding it. Leave me alone. And I ran away and I got up to my bedroom and I wouldn't go back to the party.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Josh, you mentioned school a moment ago there. So let's get to track 3, which is the song that reminds you of your time at school.
Yes. Missing You by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Okay, I love that song. I love Faith Evans. I love her voice.
Yeah.
But so that one was the song that was playing when the year above me were going up to top school. So the school I went to, we called bottom school because it was at the bottom of the hill. Top school was the high school at the top of the hill.
Right.
And there was a boy, again, my first ever boyfriend. He was leaving.
Oh no.
And I know it was really sad. So that was our song. It was our soundtrack to our emotional parting. And then after that, and it played at the disco and all that, the end of year disco. Oh, it's so sweet. And we played it in the classroom at lunchtime and I knew all the words. And it was just, it was like a little bit of a movie kind of. And then after he went, he would write me letters and give it to a friend to give to me. And it was just, the song was kind of walking us through all that. It was really cute. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's very cute. Yeah.
Did you aside from the Leavers Disco and the heartache that come with Puff Daddy, did you enjoy school?
No.
Really?
I did not enjoy school. I used to cry every day. Every morning. I'd wake
Why?
up, I'd burst into tears, and I don't want to go. And then by about 2:00, I was all right. And then I came home at 3:30. So I think I didn't like mornings. I think mostly, that is probably a big reason why I didn't like it.
I mean, that's changed. We should point out to the listeners now. It's about 7 a.m. where you are right now, and you've been up for about 3 hours already.
I know. Well, I'm getting up for a beautiful reason because my little girl is like, she's full of beans.
Yeah,
she wakes up and she's just on it. She's like,
wonderful.
Come on, life, let's do this. And Cody is like, oh my god, I can't handle this. But I have a way of pushing through it, I think now.
Wonderful.
I've definitely learned. But no, I didn't like it then. Didn't like it back then at all.
What did you want to be at school? I know, obviously, you said that your folks were telling the music teacher that you could sing, and you was kind of hiding that. And obviously, at school, you don't want to put your head above above anything, do you? You want to head down and just get through school because it's tricky, right? It's tough for everyone. But deep down, what did you want to do when you was at school? What did you think you was going to be?
I really, at the beginning, I say at the beginning, it's funny, isn't it? How it feels like such a long time I was there and I wasn't. I really wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
But because I loved animals a lot more than I loved standing up in front of people singing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't great with anything academic. I really wasn't, like the maths thing, still, I can't get my head around it. Spelling was a proper issue for me. Anything that was not creative, to be honest, was like not my thing. So my mum said to me, Jossie, if you do want to be a vet, you can do anything you want in this life, but you will have to go to school after you finish school for another 10 years.
Yeah, that's overrated.
I said, no, thank you very much. Really? And once I figured that out, I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And then I thought, right, okay, I've got to think of another plan. And I remember watching, Jay McDonald's Star for a Night.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was so sweet, wasn't it? I thought, people do that for a job. I can do that for a job. That's easy. I can sing a song. How hard can it be? And so that's what I ended up doing.
Kind of right.
Yeah, it kind of worked out okay. Yeah, it did work out okay. I think it's a better job, really. But, it's nice hanging out with cows and stuff.
Yeah.
So I do miss that. But I can still have cows. I can have the best of both worlds.
So from from being somewhere like quite quiet, like Devon, and to then finding yourself, having success, in the music industry and being on the television and being on the radio, like how did you find that adjustment to all of a sudden not just being Joss, but being, oh look, there's Joss Stone.
Yeah.
How was that?
I don't think I liked it very much. Really, that aspect of it wasn't my favorite bit. So I've tried to quell that a little bit. I like the music side of it. I like being together with lots of people, dancing around and smiling and giving good feeling. And that's the biggest part of the job, really. But at the beginning, it's funny, isn't it? I didn't really want to be seen. I had this whole pitch to the record label, because remember the Gorillas? They had the cartoon videos.
Yeah.
And that was around about the same time. And I remember saying to Steve Greenberg, who signed me I was 14 when I signed with him, about 15, 16 when the records come out. And I remember saying, hey, why don't we do this thing where I just sing the songs and everything is cartoon and sketched and stuff, and no one ever knows what I look like, and it'll be really cool, like the Gorillas. And he was like, no, that's not why I signed you. And I thought, bummer. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Because I was a bit shy and a bit awkward, and I don't always say the right things. And they gave me media training to do interviews properly. That went flat on its face. I just say what's on my mind, and sometimes people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So, and in England, the press can be not that sweet. So
that's a really nice way of putting it, Joss. They can be really fucking awful people.
Yes, they can. And they don't mind if they destroy your world for a minute or for 10 years. So it can be rough. It can be rough, but you need them because you want people to come to your show and you want to have the good parts. So you've got to have a balance.
Yeah.
And it took me a few years to figure out what bit I needed to minimize and what bit I needed to maximize. So, yeah.
But at 14, 15, you're still finding out who you are, let alone having to deal with all the trappings that come with being a pop star. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because you have to become you in front of everyone whilst they're judging you.
While everyone else is making their mistakes in private, and nothing's happening.
Exactly. It is a bit of a mad one.
Yeah.
But, I've learned a lot. What a crazy life.
I know. That 10 extra hours a week becoming a vet, that sounds all right.
Sounds all right now, doesn't it? Like, can I not just do a normal job? One day I will do it.
Well, I'll tell you what we do. We do the one of the last songs in the sort of formative years. And I'm going to ask you for track 4, Joss, to please tell me the first song you remember buying from a record shop.
The first song? Which one? Oh, see, I don't know which one this is now. I'm looking on my list and I'm thinking I didn't buy any of these. Which one did I buy? Are you talking about the Lauryn Hill?
It could be. I just got the answers in advance. I'm not sure which one's which.
Oh no, I don't think I bought any of these. But do you know what? What did I buy from a record shop? I bought, that was like a now 52 or something.
Oh,
now
my
40,
God.
now 40 something.
Do you know what, Josh? You have just officially made me feel so old, right? Do you know what the first record I ever bought was?
What?
Now That's What I Call Music. There weren't even a number after that one.
No, really?
It was the first one.
You're kidding.
1983, I think it was.
That's so funny.
No, mate.
I was born in 87.
God, 47 hours later. There you go.
Whoa, that's so mental. So, my sister, she came to me with this plan that we were going to buy a record. So we put all of our money together to get that record. And that was what we could agree on because they had so many different songs on it. So that's what we agreed on. That's what we got. And I can't remember what was on there. Probably Spice Girls. That's probably why we got it.
Yeah,
we love the Spice Girls. That was the best. But I remember the first record that was like mine that I asked for Christmas. It was my Uncle Porridge. His name was actually Dennis.
I was going to say there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, no idea why we called him that. He was great, and he wasn't my uncle, by the way. He was just a friend.
I love a friend that's an uncle or an aunt. Everyone had him in the 80s. It was great.
So random, isn't it? And he would always bring us sweets. And one year he decided he wasn't going to get us sweets because we got older. He said, I'm going to get you whatever you want. So tell me what you want for Christmas. And I was like, oh, okay, well, there's these 2 records. So you can choose one. Either it was Paint the Sky with Stars by, what's her name? Now I'm forgetting. Don't say Anita Baker. It's not Anita Baker. It's by, I'm going to Google it right now. I don't know why. It's my prego brain. It was, I'm not going to sing it to you now. Paint the Sky with Stars by Enya.
Right.
Why? All I heard was Anita in my brain by Enya.
I've got a really weird Enya fact, right? I've got an Enya fact for you, right? You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Enya speaks English,
Yeah.
From what I gather most of the day, but dreams in Gaelic.
That makes sense in a weird way.
It's quite odd, isn't it?
When you hear her music, you're like, yeah, she would be that strange.
Yeah. There you go. I
But
don't know where I pulled that fact from.
She dreams in Gaelic.
Yeah. Good name for an album.
She's such a magical fairy.
Yeah.
I felt she was a magical fairy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was one, and the other one was Aretha Franklin Greatest Hits.
Oh, that'll do.
And he bought me both. I got both.
Good on Uncle Porridge. What a dude.
How cool is that? Yeah, I know. And I ended up really wanting to be Aretha Franklin and singing along and all that, and just loving Enya and just listening with, my meditation or whatever weirdness I was doing at that age.
I mean, that's 2 very different records, isn't it?
Very, very different. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that me? Oh, no. Oh, that's my bread. Don't worry about that. I'm making rye bread.
Do you need to go and turn the oven off?
No, it's not in the oven. It's just proving.
Oh, right.
It's fine. It can have another 20 minutes. It's all right. It's just like, rising. The yeast is doing its thing. It's when I wake up at 4 a.m, I always bake every time.
Jeez.
I do something that is like creative, because otherwise I think, oh God, I'm going to fall asleep and I've got to watch Violet. So I can't be unconscious while I'm watching her. So I have to do something. So I bake.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just tell me the song that soundtracked your years clubbing.
Clubbing. God, clubbing. I never really went clubbing, but Blue Abadee Abadai was the thing that I thought was the most clubby thing I ever listened to. That was it. I'm blue. Abadee Abadai. I love it. I still love it.
I never in a million years thought my Wednesday afternoon putting both just started singing Blue to me.
Ridiculous, isn't it? What a ridiculous song that I just can't help but love. Love it.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I imagine by the time you was of a legal age to go clubbing,
oh yeah, no,
you're like, you're going to have people with cameras outside nightclubs wanting to take pictures of you drunk and things like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. So did you never really get that kind of clubbing period of your life?
Not really. I did go every now and then, if somebody was going, I'd pop along with them. But do you know what? I don't like, this makes me sound really old, but I've been this way since time. I really don't like that you have to shout at each other and everyone wants to talk to you when you're in the club. Why can't you just go to the club, listen to the music and talk later?
Yeah.
It hurts my voice. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's great in here. I love it. And they're talking. I'm like, for God's sake, can't we just listen?
I know.
And then have a dance and then leave? So my friend Brian and I, we used to hang out in New York, and we had the same irritation with having to shout the whole bloody time.
Yeah.
So we decided, right, we're going to go in here, we're going to dance to one song, and then we're out.
Yeah.
And that is how we did clubbing. That was
Lovely.
the best thing. Go in, one song, and then go out, sit in a bar, have a cocktail, have a chat till 4 a.m. Good quality time, you know?
That's what it's about. Like, I'll let you in a
Yeah.
secret, right, Joss, right? I've run a nightclub for 32 years,
Oh,
and
wow, have you?
I don't like going in the club.
Because it's too loud.
It's too loud, and there's nowhere for me to sit. And it's like, I just want to sit down and have a chat with my mate. So I just stand at the front
Exactly.
and I can chat to the customers and I can chat to the staff at the front, which is nice and quiet.
Yes, yes.
Don't
The
get,
smoking area
I'm
is
nearly
the area.
50. I've got to worry about like tinnitus and stuff like that now. So it's like, stay at the front, have a
I'm
nice
so
civilized chat.
glad you feel the same. That is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's where you'll find me if there's a club. Outside with my little coat on and my little rolly, having a chat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I asked you earlier, Joss, about confidence. You have chosen a career in an industry that is famously so tough to have a fraction of success, let alone anywhere near the success that you've had in the music industry. So confidence aside, tell me about your relationship with drive.
I think that I have always just been a hard worker. I think I don't know why. I just really like when I'm doing something. I'm head first in. I always am, and I have like a standard that I want to meet for me. That's really nothing else. I just feel, in a way, it's to avoid embarrassment. I want to feel proud of what I've done, and I want to feel like I worked really hard and I was the best me that I could possibly be. Because otherwise, I'll just sit there and feel depressed. Probably it won't make me feel happy. So I think that is where the drive comes from. I don't know if that's my mum or my dad or what food I ate or what. Like I said, I'm one of four and we're all very, very different. My brother is so chill. He's almost horizontal, you know. So, and we were brought up in the same family, only 18 months apart.
Yeah.
It's just, we are who we are. And I just like when I'm doing something, I want to do it and I want to do it properly and to its, to its fullest.
Okay. I'm going to take you home for track 6. And I'm going to ask you for a favourite song from an artist from your home county, please.
My home county?
Did you think it was country? Because the other 450 people that I've had on this podcast, 440 of them thought it was country as well, but it is actually county.
It's got to be Devon.
Yeah. What's that of Devon?
Or Dover.
Or Dover.
Don't know about musicians from Dover, but I do know about Muse. There's Muse. And Coldplay. They're from Devon.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. There was this one song that really tripped me out from Coldplay. It was that Yellow song.
Yeah, it's good that
and
one, isn't it?
It was gorgeous, but I mean, it actually sent me into a weird seizure. How weird is that? And I don't have seizures.
Right.
But there's something my mum had called petit mal epilepsy. And it's like your brain goes, like something triggers it and it feels like everything's, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like everything is rushed and slow. And it's the oddest, strangest feeling, but it's kind of cool.
Like fast and slow at once?
Fast and slow at once. Like, so if you're breathing, you hear your breathing and it's like you're breathing slowly, but it sounds and it kind of feels emotionally like you're going, but you're not. And you know you're not. And you're calm. I cannot explain it properly, but it's very, very odd. And I never went to the doctors for it or anything like that. But every single time I played that song, it sent me into this weirdness, like a trip. And that lasted for like a year. Yeah, it was very weird. But I kind of liked it. It was like being drunk. So I was like, oh, I'm going to play it again. Let's see if it happens again. And sure enough, it did.
That's crazy.
I know. It's so odd.
So is it something to do with the frequencies or like what? Do you know what it is? Or just, is it Coldplay or just that song?
Just that song. It wasn't Coldplay because other Coldplay songs I play and I just love them. Yeah. But no, that one just it kind of like wrapped me up. and did something odd. And I wasn't smoking weed and I wasn't taking drugs. I promise, because this was like I was younger. So
yeah,
isn't that funny?
that's mad. I find that really fascinating when like listening to music like creates a physical reaction rather than like, you know, I know obviously you hear music and you want to dance, but I had on one of the very first episodes I've done of this podcast years and years ago, I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about they're using this kind of recording technique, and I don't know what it is, but apparently Michael Jackson used it on one of the last records he done. And there's this kind of procedure and frequency or something in these bass notes. I can't remember exactly how it is, but it gives you goosebumps.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like, because not everyone gets goosebumps, do they? There's only a certain percentage of the population get goosebumps. Yeah. And obviously sometimes you hear like Tears in Heaven, you hear that like goosebumps. It's like,
because you're emotionally affected.
100%. But there's Michael Jackson obviously was always kind of ahead of the game with his, you know, with production and things like that. And yeah, apparently there's something on one of them later albums that this band were replicating that when you hear it, you get a physical reaction, you get goosebumps. That's crazy, so right?
Cool. That's I know. So cool. And then there's also the brown frequency that makes you shit yourself.
What?
Have you not heard of that one?
No.
Oh my God, yeah.
Apparently. I'm so going to drop that at my club on the weekend. Tell me more.
Do it. Please do it. That would be so funny. No, it won't be funny. Everybody will be very upset. Gosh.
Do it on Halloween. That would be like the ultimate like freak show of a night. So I take it that's some kind of really fucking heavy, intense like techno or something.
It must be scary. It must be scary.
Jesus.
I've never heard it.
So, yeah. I don't think I want to.
Maybe try it, but try it, you know, get prepared. You know, prepare yourself.
In a controlled environment.
In a controlled environment. Yeah, because it might be a myth, you know. You've got to dispel the myth now.
Yeah. Man, I just can't wait to just sort of, I want to go to somewhere in kind of like Germany outside a techno bar. Just these two guys go, mate, that night was fucking epic, man. I shit myself twice. It was like...
Imagine. Oh, God. No, the power. You have too much power in that club.
God, with that power comes great responsibility, Josh. Oh my life. All right, Josh, it's your last track, and this is where you get to play tastemaker or influencer, as the kids call it now. And this is where I'm going to ask you, please, to tell our listeners a song that you think many may not know that you would like them to hear.
Many may not know. I think, gosh, that's difficult. What would they not know and I'd want them to hear? Probably, there's so many songs on my world tour that I loved, but they're all in different languages and I can't remember what any of them bloody called. I would say I want them to hear. Can it be one of my songs?
Of course.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, being that we've been talking about clubbing, I don't know how many people actually listen to it or not, because I never check the numbers.
Yeah.
But it's really uplifting and it would work in your club.
Okay.
And it's a song I wrote with the Shapeshifters, Simon Marley.
Okay.
And it's called Bring on the Rain.
Wonderful.
And it's about like just washing the last, you know, the pandemic years that we don't talk about anymore, washing that away and starting fresh.
Lovely.
And I think it's a really positive one.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, what we do, Josh, we put together a little Spotify playlist to accompany the podcast so people can go and listen to all of the tracks that we've spoken about today. And we're now, like you say, in a much happier space now that pandemic stuff's been left behind and gigs are happening, tours are happening, music festivals are happening, you know, all stuff is back to us as close to normal as we can hope to get it at the moment. So with all of that in mind, what have you got planned for the rest of the year?
Oh, I've got a Christmas album coming out.
Wonderful.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. I have wanted to make a Christmas album for years,
Mm.
and I haven't had the right scenario to do it until now.
Okay.
So my dream for it was to just cover it all in orchestra.
Mm.
And of course that costs a lot of money. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I have to wait for someone to pay for this before I can possibly even begin. So I ended up linking with Steve Greenberg, who signed me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He has now linked with Hollywood Records, which is Disney.
Ah.
So it's Disney-fied.
They've got that stuff set up 24/7, right? Disney, surely.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just very like it's a magical time of year, isn't it?
Oh.
And the music that we have heard over the years, they help us to feel the spirit, basically. And it's just a beautiful time. And all the songs I'd listened to over the years have been like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, like the older ones I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I've made an album that could sit somewhere like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you know what, Jess? I was going to ask, like, how is it? Like, how do you get that kind of vibe for singing Christmas songs in like February or like May?
Yeah.
But if you've got Disney in the mix, like, there's the magic right there, right?
Exactly. It's like glitter everywhere. You can't get it off. It's just on you. Yeah, it was funny. We were recording here in Tennessee, and it's like blistering heat in June, July, making Christmas
Love it.
happen. It was really quite interesting. But every studio I went to, they dressed it up with Christmas decorations for us.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that nice? I know. I couldn't believe it. Every time I went in, there was like a Christmas pillow, a little Christmas tree, a candy cane. I'm like, oh, wow, you guys know how to do this then. They do it every year, don't they?
Oh, that's superb. That's superb. Not content with being a pop superstar, podcaster as well.
Oh, yeah, I know. I got bored when they took my gigs away.
Yeah.
I was like, I've got to do something. What can I do?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I started cooking online and just talking to people. I realized that my job is not really singing. It's actually just making people feel good, happy, understood, comforted. That's the job.
Sure.
I use singing to do that.
Yeah.
And I realized that probably a bit late in the day, but I was on a world tour where I played every country in the world, and I realized a lot of people, they didn't know any of the music. You know, some of them would never listen to even the style of music I sing. But the fact that we were making noises was just making them happy. The fact that we were there was just making them happy. And I thought, this is actually my job. So when they got taken away, I thought, right, what can I do?
Yeah.
I need to do the same job with a different medium. So my friend Richard, I've known him since school. His whole thing is podcasts, and he's always asking me, will you do one? Will you do one? But it takes a lot of time, as you know. It's like, I didn't have the time before. So he called me up. He goes, how about now? I thought, oh, okay, let's do it. What should we do it about? And he suggested basing it around happiness, because he knows me so well. And he was like, that's kind of your thing, Joss. So we called it A Cup of Happy. Lovely. And I just interview people that know more about life and the brain and the body than I do. I don't know anything. I just ask questions. I'm basically just nosy. And it's really eye-opening. It really is. Wonderful. I love it. I really love chatting. So as you can tell,
you're very good at it.
Love to chat.
So if people want to find out about the podcast, if people want to find out about the Christmas record, any upcoming gigs, or just general Joss Stone news, where's the best place to keep up to speed with you?
I'd say probably jossstone.com or Instagram would be a good one, or Facebook.
Wonderful.
They always pop it all up on all of them, don't they?
Yeah. Joss, I've had an absolute ball talking records with you, mate.
Oh, I have too. Thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Don't go anywhere.